Yes, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. A video. I've not done a video for ages, done loads of lives. This morning, we've got a video for you, and we're talking about club captain Son, aren't we? We're talking about Son, who has, it's not the best kept secret in the world, is it? But Son has signed a contract extension at Spurs, and already the fan base is divided. We wouldn't have it any other way, would we? A divided fan base. Can you imagine if we were ever all on the same page? Um, there's lots to discuss with Son, isn't there? And listen, is he a club legend? I'll let people decide what the word legend means. Right now in the chat, people will be going, yeah, of course he is, Savile. No, he's not, or he didn't win anything. And I'll let you guys decide. But what he has been is a tremendous asset to Tottenham Hotspur for a long time now. It's, closing in on a decade at Tottenham Hotspur for Son. He scored countless goals, got countless assists, and we'll look at that as the video goes on. But there's been a lot of noise from people, I would say just this season, but started in the last couple of years, saying, okay, yeah, he's still scoring some goals, but he's not having the same effect on games that he used to have. And is that a fair criticism? I would say yes, I think it is. Is he still scoring goals? Yes. Is he scoring at the level he used to? No. But again, depending on the side of the fence that people want to attack this argument from, people will say, well, hang on, he's getting a bit older. And as a player that's always relied on pace and his direct ability to run and score goals, that's obviously going to be affected. Then you'll have people on the other side of the fence that will say, well, hang on. He's the same age as Mo Salah, and Mo Salah's in devastating form. Now, I always think it's difficult when you're going to judge two players against each other that don't play for the same team. They play for different managers. They play in different tactics, different scenarios. It's very, very different. But what I would say is, for me, it's not so much, do I think that Sonny will stop scoring goals? No, I don't. I still think the man will score some goals. For me, and this is where we all go back to the stats arguments versus the eye test arguments. I think when you watch Sonny now, it's just not the same, is it? It's not the same. And that's not me hating on him. He's been a wonderful player for Tottenham Hotspur. But I think what I would say is it's that wow factor. For me, the wow factor has gone from Son. Now, that's fine. People get older. They're not always as good as they're going to be. Listen, there are certain players that have that wow factor for way beyond the age of 32, 33. The likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, Messi. There are players that keep going. But Sonny, for me, is somebody that has lost that wow factor. Now, that's not a dig at him. I know lots of people in the chat right now, again, oh, my God, Sava, I can't believe what you said. But Sonny, for me, we know when through on goal, we know the man can finish. We know that his finishing is ruthless. We know how good he is in those situations. But it's the other things in games, isn't it? He's not beating his fullback like he used to. He's not cutting in and whipping goals into the top corner like he used to. Now, I'm not saying he can't ever, by the way. I know what will happen. He'll score a goal at the weekend. People will lose their mind. But it's just not the same. And lots of people are going to be having this discussion today about should he have signed the extension or shouldn't he have signed the extension? And I guess there's two ways of looking at this, isn't there? There's, from a player point of view, you're the club captain, you're on big wages, the club turn around and go, right, we want to extend you. You don't have to move house. You're comfortable. You're guaranteed a place in the first team. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? From the player point of view, it's an absolute no-brainer. The fact that he's club captain, again, that's a debate for another day. Many people, including myself, don't think he's captain material. Other people will argue, well, what is captain material? There's always two sides, isn't there? But aside from that, there's Sonny's point of view, and then there's the club point of view, and then there's the fan point of view. So for Sonny, it's a no-brainer for me. Yes, he could go out to Qatar and countries like that and get 500-600 grand a week, sure. But hey, he's at Spurs. He's idolized. Like this player is idolized beyond belief. Listen, I like Son. I think he's a very good footballer. However, he's idolized as though he's Hoddle or Ginola or you know what I mean, or Kane. And listen, I don't put him on that pedestal, but a lot of the fan base do. And I understand why he would stay. Now we look at it from a Spurs perspective. Now, this is what Spurs said earlier today, right? We are delighted to announce that we have exercised the option to extend Heung-min Son's contract, which will now run until the summer of 2026. So again, read that. So the summer of 2026. So we're only looking at 18 months away, maybe 17 months if you actually think about it. So it means his contract, his last game for Spurs will be next May, right? Next May will be the last club game for Tottenham Hotspur. Now, let's look at this. You have got those that will say, well, hang on, if we're an ambitious club, if we want to do better, we should have a succession plan. We should have the next son in place. We should have someone as good, ready-made, oven-cooked, ready to come in to this club and take that mantle, make that left side their own, and we all go, wow, what a player, what a signing. Right. Those people don't think that Son should have had a one-year contract extension. And for me, I kind of agree, but disagree. This is a really interesting subject for me because everything about me watches him as just as a footballer now and says, meh, right? But then the wider picture, all of the circumstances around that say it's not that straightforward, right? Is there anyone ready to take the mantle? I don't think there is. Is there a better player than Son on the left? Now, some people will go, absolutely not. No. Sonny. He's the only one that can play on that left. Other people will go, well, hang on. His drop-off is so big that is he worse than Werner? Should Mikey Moore get in there? What about Odegaard, who we've just signed? He's a left-sided forward as well. And then you've got Yang. So Tottenham Hotspur, you could argue, well, they have got a succession plan, right? We have. Now, whether or not you believe that's the succession plan that's going to be, if Son's there, those other players can't lace his boots, right? Definitely not in terms of what he's achieved in his career and his ability overall. However, as Sonny's coming down here, the question is, are any of these catching up? And we go, okay, they're on a level. I'll leave you to answer that question. But people go, right, we're going to replace Son. We're going to go and get a top player. People talk about the likes of Kvaratskhelia, for example, who I don't think would ever come to Spurs. But we look at players like that and we go, that's what we should be doing. But as I've said, yes, Timo Werner, hopefully his loan will end. By the way, one of the worst signings in the club's history. But Timo Werner's loan will end. You are then still left with those players I mentioned, Moore, Yang, and Odegaard. So by keeping Son, let's look at the negative for those younger players, and then we'll look at the positive. Let's look at both sides. The negative is, surely, if Son is going to stay, lots of ifs, buts, and maybes always in football conversations. If Son is going to stay and he's going to be the main man on the left next season, we know he's the main man on the left now, but let's assume he is next year. What does that do for Yang's development, Odegaard's development, Mikey Moore's development? How do they get the game time? There's four, that would be four of them that all play on the left. How do they get the game time? We can talk about rotation, but let's assume at the moment, it's not looking like we're going to qualify for Europe. Yes, we could win a cup. Yes, we could win the Europa League. But at the moment, from the league perspective, which is the main focal point of any football club, surely, right? In the year out will tell you how good you are. At the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to secure European football. We're 9 points off of the Conference League. So if you are playing once a week, how does Son, Yang, Moore, Odegaard, how do they all play? Now, the next part is this. If Son is going to be the main man, who's the next in line? Is it Odegaard, who you paid 25 million for, whatever it was? Is it Yang, the successor to Son, some people are calling him? Is it Moore, the generational talent that everyone is raving about? How do you get them all minutes? Does one of them go out on loan? Does the two of them go out on loan? Does Son sit on the bench and one of them starts and he's the bit part player? Has Son stayed at the football club because of Yang, because of the Korean connection, to help him, to nurture him, to blood him into the Tottenham squad, to make him feel settled. All of these different questions, I don't know the answers to them. We can all hypothesize. We can all have our opinion on what that looks like. I'm asking you guys. And the reason why I've titled this Footballing or Financial Reasons is this. When you speak to a lot of people about Son and you say, right, should he stay for another year? Lots of them at the moment are saying for footballing reasons, no. But Daniel Levy will keep him for financial reasons. And I get it and I don't get it, right? In terms of footballing reasons, for me, I think a bigger club moves a player like this on now. But look at the revenue that is generated by Son into this football club. Now, that's not a bad thing. What happens with those funds afterwards is a discussion for another day. But the revenue that is generated through Son because of the Korean connection, what he brings to the club from an Asian perspective, can't be undermined. It can't be belittled. And Daniel Levy surely isn't going to go, boom, let's cut that immediately. So that then ties into people saying, well, is that why they bought Yang? Is Yang so that we keep that Asian market? Or is it merited because he's a brilliant player? Now, I don't know the answers to these questions. These are the debates that are flying around, right? I'm asking you to get your understanding. We can talk about this all day, right? We can talk about this all day. What we do know is this. If we have a look here, you can see this is Sonny. I can't get the whole page on, but this is Sonny at Tottenham Hotspur. 125 league goals in 320 games. And in 431 games overall, he's got 169 goals. It's a good record. Don't get me wrong. It's not the mind-blowing record I think some people think it is, but it's a good record. It's a very good, solid record, right? 169 goals in the Premier League is a big achievement, right? 125 goals in the Premier League is a big achievement. 169 overall for Spurs is a big achievement. That can't be sniffed at. He's been lethal. And if we look at his stats, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's always been mad prolific. And I'm not underplaying him, but if you actually look at this, look, 17 is good. 10 is average. 23 is very good. 17 is good. 11, 12, 14. But what he has done is consistently over those years got himself over the 10 mark and closer to the 20 mark more often than not. And that's a big feat. So the question is, how is that replaced? How is that replaced? Is that replaced by more? We don't know. People already have put more on this pedestal. He's a kid. He's a young kid that needs to forge his own path. He's a young kid that needs time. He's a young kid that needs to, when he plays, stop being compared to some of the best we've ever had. Let him develop. Let him grow. Maybe he goes out on loan next year. I don't know. Is it Yang? Is Yang going to be the guy that can pick up that goal contribution? Because you've got to remember, for all but one of those seasons or one and a half of those seasons, you've had Harry Kane's 25, 30, 35 goals to go along with that. So if you're going to have the drop-off from Kane to Solanke, and I don't care what anyone says, there is a huge drop-off. The number of goals will be nowhere near with Solanke they were with Kane. But if you've got a drop-off there, can you then afford the drop-off from Son to someone else as well? So look, there's a lot of interesting talking points. Let me know. Questions I've got for you now in the chat. Is Son our main starting left-sided player next year? Or do we look at one of the younger players to replace him, of which we now have 3 that are 20 and under? Madness. I don't understand how we've done that, to be honest. I don't understand why Odegaard was signed and Yang when we had more, and Son signs a contract extension. But the questions I'm asking you, is Son staying to be the main man next season? Is he staying for financial reasons? Does he stay to just help develop Yang? Is he staying so that we can put a price tag on his head? I don't know, because at the moment he could talk to clubs, or before today he could talk to clubs and go free. Is it to come on as an impact sub? Let me know what you think. We'll be live tonight, 6 p.m. on my channel for The Collective, a brand new panel show. There's myself, we've got a Nottingham Forest fan, a Chelsea fan, an Arsenal fan, and a Liverpool fan. We'll be chewing all the fat about Tottenham Hotspur and their clubs. Just kidding. We'll be chewing the fat about all the Premier League clubs. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you for all your support. And let's see if we can get some questions answered from this discussion. Take care, everyone. And as always, leave you out and out. And come on, you Spurs.